Okay, so on our backs, just any way that feels comfortable to be, whether that's with knees bent or legs out flat. Just get yourself comfortable into the floor. Hi Sarah, we're starting lying down, so come on to your back, sis. So just tuck the shoulder blades down your back a little bit so the chest feels open. Wherever your legs are is entirely up to you, but just try and let the pelvis feel really heavy into the ground. Just let the heaviness of that center point of your body then soften or relax around the back. Allow the breath to then start moving a little bit more freely through the torso. Keeping the breath through the nose if it's comfortable. Guiding that inhale to move into that lower space of the abdomen. If you want to place one hand onto the lower belly, somewhere between hip bones and pubic bones, really reaching the breath into that lowest part of your torso. Allow there to be a moment of pausing between the inhale and exhale, and between the exhale and inhale. There's not necessarily a holding of the breath, but just a pause, just a moment of floating between the inhale and exhale. See if you can send that breath in to move wide into the ribs. Feel the back of the rib cage pressing into the floor as you expand that in-breath into that full circumference of your torso. Just stretch your mouth out nice and wide, so really get a good stretch out through the face. And then scrunch your face up nice and tight, really screw up your eyes and your mouth. And then open it nice and wide again, feel the stretch. Once more nice and tight. Once more really open. And then let your face go floppy. On your inhale, reach the hands towards the ceiling, stretch the fingers open and just roll the wrists around, the fingers to move as much as they can through the palms. Interlace your fingers together, flip the palms up to press up towards the ceiling, pressing them out, let the shoulder blades just lift slightly away from the ground. Take a really big breath where you are, still feeling that expansion through the ribs. And then take that clasp of the hands back behind your head so the palms are facing the wall behind you. As long as you can through the arms, see if your little finger edge of the hands can come to the floor. Take a really big breath into the ribs again. And then slide the arms around to the sides of you, just placing them to the ground, shoulder height out to the side, palms facing up to the ceiling. As you exhale, rotate the palms down towards the floor. So hands are grounded. As you inhale, turn the palms back up to the ceiling again. And see if you can keep turning them around. So almost the thumbs are on the floor, but palms are facing the wall behind you. And then roll them all the way back again. So palms come down to the ground, pressing them in. And rotate them back again. So back of the hands and then thumb edge to the ground. So just spiraling the arms all the way around one way and all the way around the other way, making it as big as you can. So it's not just the movement of the hands and the wrists moving, it's the movement through the shoulder and the shoulder blades. You start getting into those rotated cuffs in your scapula in the back. Then just resting the back of the hands to the floor where your arms feel most comfortable to rest. If you haven't already, then bend the knees so your feet are on the ground about hips distance apart. And just take a gentle rock of the knees going from one side to the other, just moving through that lower back, keeping the shoulders grounded. Eventually, let both knees flop all the way down to the right. Just let them drop wherever they fall to. Keep the shoulders rooted. Turn the head towards the left, away from the knees. Take a really big breath in. And as you exhale, pull belly to spine, lift the knees through the center, and then take them over to the other way. So knees to the left, gaze to the right. Stay where you are, take a big breath in. Exhale, bring the knees back to the center and all the way over to the right again. So just staying in that twist. This time we're going to tuck in a little bit tighter. So stack the left knee around towards your body a little bit further, enough so that your right hand can rest onto the upper knee or the upper thigh, just to help anchor the legs down a little. Each time you exhale, see if you can root that left shoulder closer to the floor. So think about that left shoulder blade, your scapula, sliding down the back of the ribcage. Almost as though you're trying to get that left side of your ribs to rotate back to the floor. Extend the top leg out to the side. You can keep the hand either on top of the leg or underneath the leg to support it, either holding onto calf or back of the knee or heel. Pushing out through the heel of that left foot, so the big toe curls back towards you. Keep the breath moving through to the belly and through to the back. And the shoulders stay grounded. Stay where you are, take a big breath in. As you exhale, fold that knee, bring the knees through the center. And when you're ready to, drop both knees over to the left. Again, stacking that right knee on top of the left leg, or tuck it round towards you a little bit further. Your left hand is going to rest on top of the upper thigh. Root the right shoulder down to the floor. Full deep breaths, thinking about that right shoulder blade, trying to slide down the back of the ribs so your chest space feels open. And then extend that right leg out to the side. So again, your hand can either rest on top of the leg or underneath the leg. Flex the foot, curl the toe back towards you. Take a really big breath. Slowly bend the knee, bring the knees up through to the center. Bring your right knee in towards your chest and interlace the hands around that shin. Send the left leg away along the mat, pressing out through that left heel. Take a big breath in where you are. And as you exhale, really pull that right thigh in towards the abdomen. Roll the right foot around a few times one way and a few times the other way. And then take the hands around to the back of that thigh. Keep the thigh fairly close towards your torso, but extend up through the heel. So the leg does not have to straighten. You want to keep the thigh close to your body, but just see where that heel can lengthen up to. Keep the foot feeling flexed, so the big toe is pulling back towards you. If it's feeling pretty tight in the back of that leg, just keep a gentle bit of movement into it if it helps to ease. And then find stillness at the point where you feel a good stretch. And we're going to hold for 3 more breaths. So take a full deep inhale. Full exhale. Full deep inhale. Full exhale. Inhale 3. Exhale, bend the knee. Bend your left knee, so foot is back to the floor. Rest the right ankle onto the left thigh. We'll just find that opening of the figure of four. So press the knee away from you. You can stay here if you wish to, or thread the hands through the gap. So you pull in that left thigh and your right shin comes towards the shoulders. Take it as deep as you want to take it. If it feels good just to stay with that easier opening of the hip option, then stay with that for today. Lightly flex both feet. Root the tailbone into the floor. Stay where you are, take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, just untangle the right leg. So we're going to switch sides. So your left shin is in towards you with hands around that shin. The right leg extends away along the mats, pressing out through the right heel. Stay where you are, take a big breath in. And as you exhale, really pull that left thigh in towards the body. Get a little bit of compression into the front of the hip. Roll the left foot around a few times one way, big as you can, and a few times the other way. And then take the hands around to the back of that thigh. Try to keep the thigh close towards your body. Extend the heel up towards the ceiling. So again, there can absolutely be a bend in the knee. You're still getting that lengthening through the hamstring. Keeping that bend in the knee and the thigh close towards your body is going to keep the back much more comfortable. So again, keep it gently swaying or rocking a little bit if that helps, just to bring a little bit of ease into it. And then we're going to find stillness for 3 more breaths. So inhale for 1. Exhale. Inhale for 2. Exhale. Inhale 3. Exhale. Bend both knees. So the right foot's on the floor. The left ankle is going to rest onto the right thigh. Press the knee away from you so you find that opening. And then if you wish to, thread the hands through the gap so you pull in your right thigh. The left shin's coming towards the shoulders as far as feels good. Rooting the tailbone down, the shoulders back. Find a sense of ease through the torso. Lightly flexing both feet. Last couple of breaths. Slowly releasing both feet to the floor. Bring both feet to hips distance apart. So you're setting up for your bridge pose. So really lengthen the spine into the ground. Hands at the sides of the body, palms up to the ceiling. Without lifting the hips up, we're just going to work the breath into mobilizing the pelvis a little bit. So you get really nice and loose through that lower spine. So just using your breath, find that full expansion again as we did at the start. So belly really expands as you inhale. And as you exhale, pull the belly button down to the spine so you feel your spine press down into the mat, slightly tucking the tailbone upwards. Inhale, let belly expand. Feel the tailbone press down, the lower back just lighten away from the mat. Exhale, pull the abdominals down, press the back down, tailbone will curl up. Keep it going, so exaggerating those pelvic tilts. Make it a little bit bigger each time you breathe. Try and keep the glutes soft, so buttocks don't do the work here. This is just your lower abdominals, pelvic floor, and mula bandha. Mula bandha is that slight contraction through the perineum, so that back passage of the pelvic floor. So then using your next exhale with that same engagement, keep the hips rolling up towards the ceiling this time. So reach the knees forwards as you float the hips up. Think really open space at the front of your hips. Hold here with the feet floating, the hips floating, sorry. Press into the feet so your head slides back a little bit further behind you. Really splaying open through the shoulders and the chest. Keep the neck relaxed. Deep full exhales, still finding that deeper pelvic floor engagement. Activate the buttocks now, so glutes are feeling really active to keep the front of the hips lifting. Tucking the tailbone, so lower back stays long. On your next exhale, just drop some of the spine back to the ground again. So just the top few vertebrae. Stay where you are, take another breath in. As you exhale, bring the next little bit of your spine to the ground again. So mostly of your ribs are on the ground. Stay where you are, take a breath in. And as you exhale, roll the rest of the spine into the mat. You're going to take that bridge pose again. So starting at the ground with a big inhale, let the belly expand. Use the exhale, pull belly down, lifting pelvic floor in, roll the hips up towards the ceiling. Wriggle the feet slightly closer together. Press down through the left foot. Bring the right foot up off the floor, so the knee is stacked above the hip, but keep the knee bent. Try and keep the hip bones level with each other. So really working a little bit harder through the core to stabilize that level space of the pelvis. Take a breath in. Exhale, place the right foot back to the ground. Push down through the right foot. Lift the left leg up. So knee is stacked above the hip. Keep the knee bent. Still trying to tuck the tailbone, so we're not loading the weight into a back bend. Take a big breath in. Exhale, place the left foot to the floor. Inhale, lift your arms up towards the ceiling. Reach them all the way back behind you, so the back of the hands are to the ground. Reaching back as long as you can through the arms. Take a big breath in, hips reaching high. As you exhale, slowly roll the spine back into the ground. One vertebrae at a time. Take your time with it, so your tailbone is the very last point to touch the ground. When you are grounded, bring both knees in towards your chest. Hug the hands around the shins. Take a gentle rock side to side there on your spine. From here, either roll yourself over to one side or take a gentle rock through to seated. We're going to come straight over the legs or sweep the legs around to one side into an all fours position. Spread the hands open nice and wide into the ground to get that gentle stretch through the palms again. So keep the arms straight and the spine straight. Just going to squeeze the shoulder blades together. Like you've got a lemon between the shoulder blades that you're going to give a squeeze. And then press through the hands. You push that slice of lemon up towards the ceiling. So just the space between the shoulder blades is moving. And then sink the chest towards the ground. So you squeeze that lemon between the shoulder blades. And then press the lemon up towards the ceiling so the juice of it runs down your arms. Yeah, good. Squeeze it. And open it. Good, then hold somewhere in between, just so there's a little bit of support from the shoulders. As you inhale, lift the tailbone up and lift the chest upwards. And as you exhale, rounding through into that cat stretch. So tuck the tailbone, tuck the chin towards the chest, really pressing through the arms and through the feet. As you inhale, again, lift the tailbone and the chest up. Exhale, rolling through, tuck the tailbone, tuck the chin. Inhale again to lift, holding this feeling of the backbone, so tailbone and chest stay lifted. Bring your hips back towards your heels, but try to maintain that feeling of tailbone lifting up for as long as you can. Hips come back towards your feet, keep that tailbone sitting up. When you get as low as you can, stay where you are with hips to heels, but round the spine the other way. So tuck the tailbone and look towards the knees. Keep that rounded posture, bring yourself back up into all fours. Keep the rounded posture, so shoulder blades stay open. Good, then tip the tailbone up again, looking forwards with the chest. Keep the feeling of that back bend, send the hips back towards your heels. Tailbone trying to tip upwards. When you get as far back as you can, maybe you just feel the heels underneath the buttocks. Round the spine the other way, tuck the tailbone, look towards your knees. Keep that posture of the spine and come back up into all fours. Then one more here. Lift the tailbone up, lift the chest and the gaze. Keep the feeling of the back bend, hinging back towards your feet. Really send the sit bones as far back as you can. Rounding through the spine, tuck the tailbone and the chin. Come all the way back up into all fours again. Then take it the other way. So stay with this cat stretch. Hinge back towards the heels with this. When you get to the heels, stay where you are, but take the back bend feeling. So lift the tailbone and look forward towards the hands. Lifting that posture of the spine back up to all fours. Two more here. So round through the spine when you're at the top. Bring the hips back towards your heels, keeping that rounding and opening of lower back. When you touch your heels, lift the tailbone, lift the chest, and lift that back bend up into all fours. Good, last one, rounding through the spine. Hold it back towards your heels. When you're at the heels, lift the tailbone and chest, and lift that back up into all fours. Neutralize your spine, tuck the toes underneath you, and come into your downward facing dog. Keep that feeling of lifting the tailbone up, so you get that real lengthening through the lower back. Paddle through the feet, so squeeze one heel down, squeeze the other heel down. And when you have a bend into your right knee, hold there, root the left heel towards the floor, so you get a nice deep stretch down the back of the left leg. And see if you can tip your tailbone further up towards the ceiling, pushing through the hands. Your chest is reaching back towards your legs. Take a big breath in. As you exhale, switch the legs. So deep bend in the left knee as you press the right heel down towards the floor. Lift the tailbone up and press the ground away through the hands. Take a big breath in. And exhale, soften the bend in both knees. As you inhale, roll through to your plank position. Think about that broad space around the shoulder blades as you travel forwards. Holding your plank position, lengthening the spine from the back of the skull through to the tailbone. So glutes are lightly active, really pulling the belly up towards the spine for support. Take a big breath in. As you exhale, bring the knees to the floor. Let the hips come forwards. We're just going to slink the body to the ground with the elbows hugging in towards the ribcage. Lengthen the toes away. Bring the arms into more of a cactus position, so hands forwards and wide, so your elbows are in line with the shoulders. Press down through the feet, so you can lengthen the legs back a little bit longer if there's room to. So think tucking the tailbone again here, so the glutes a little bit active, pull the belly button up. Then as you inhale, lift the chest, so lift the nose, the chest, and some of the ribs, shoulders stay down. As you exhale, have a sense of coming back forwards as you roll back into the floor. You're going to take another 3 cobras, so feel free to lift this or build it up as you wish to. You can come up a little bit higher on each one or lengthen the arms a little bit longer. Exhale, come back to the ground. 2 more. Inhale, slink the spine up. Exhale, roll back down. Inhale, slink the spine up. Exhale, rolling back to the floor. Bring the hands back under your shoulders. Keep the elbows hugging in. In one whole piece, press through the hands and lift to the knees. Strong arms as it all falls. Fold back into your child's pose. Keep the arms really lengthening out in front of you as far as they can reach. Come back forwards with the shoulders, tuck the toes, come back into your downward facing dog. Turn your toes very slightly in towards each other, so the heels are very slightly turned out, so a little bit pigeon-toed. Thinking about your inner thighs, trying to rotate towards the wall behind you. The sit bones are spread wide. Let the head relax here between the arms, broaden out the shoulders, feel that wrapping of the shoulder blades. Take a big breath in. full breath out as you send the sit bones further up towards the ceiling. Take another big breath in. Another full breath out. Square the feet up and begin to walk your feet up towards the hands at the top of the mat. Hands towards the feet if that's a little bit more comfortable. Holding here in a fold. Just let the arms either hold on to alternate elbows or let the arms dangle. Stay here for about 3 breaths to bring any soft movement to it. Allow your upper body to feel really floppy and heavy. Allow the arms to then dangle to the floor if they aren't already. Stay where you are, take a big breath in. As you exhale, keep a micro bend in the knees. Pull the belly button up so you press yourself up to standing. Thinking about the abdominals pushing you up. Roll the shoulders down your back when you get there. Take an inhale as your arms reach wide and up to the ceiling. Come onto the tiptoes of the feet to keep the gaze forwards. As you exhale, lower the heels towards the ground. If you need to, just take a step forwards towards the top of the mat if you're not quite there already. And then as you exhale, come round with the arms and forward fold it towards the legs. Bring the hands to the shins. Take a halfway lift as you inhale. Exhale, soften back into the legs. Stay where you are, take a breath in. As you exhale, slowly rolling back up through the spine. Keep the chin tucking in until the rest of the spine is straight. Roll the shoulders down your back when you get to the top. Half sun salutation again. So inhale, arms wide enough. Lifting onto the tiptoes. Exhale, drop the heels, rounding through towards the feet. Hands to shins or the floor. Take your halfway lift. Just try and create that straight, long spine. Exhale, soften into the legs. On one inhale this time, lifting all the way up to standing, pressing through the heels, arms wide enough. Taking that half sun salutation again to start with the tiptoes. Exhale, heels down as you find the fold. Halfway lift, big inhale, reaching up. Exhale, soften into the legs. Inhale rolls you all the way to standing, arms lifting, come onto the tiptoes. Keep the arms lifting. This time just drop the heels back and take your hands around behind you to interlace the fingers together. As you inhale, reach the hands back so you feel the squeeze of that shoulder blade, squeezing that lemon again, and lift the nose slightly towards the ceiling. Take a deep bend into your knees and allow your body to then fold in towards the thighs. Gaze towards your toes. Hands lifting up to the ceiling and then maybe overhead a little bit so you get that real extension through the front of the shoulders. Keep the hands clasped, but as you inhale, reach the chest forwards. You take a bit of a halfway lift feeling. Good. As you exhale, release the hands down towards your feet. Soften into the legs. Inhale to roll all the way back up to standing. You're going to take that once again. So inhale, arms wide and up. Come onto the tiptoes if you like. Exhale, heels down, hands interlaced together behind your back. Maybe one finger differently so it feels like the weird way. Inhale, opens the chest. Reach the hands back behind you. Exhale, deep bend in the knees as you find the fold, lifting that clasp of the hands up and over the head. Keep the hands clasped, reach the chest forwards to halfway lift. Exhale, stay where you are, just release the hands down towards the feet. This time, step the right leg back behind you and place the knee down to the floor. We're just going to hold this longer lunge, so see if that back knee can go a little bit further away if we can. If it's already far enough, then leave it where it is. Hands just resting either side of that front foot. Just allow the hips to sink heavy towards that front heel. Take a deep breath where you are. Really root down through that front foot. So your arms are going to lift up towards the ceiling. Circle your right arm going back behind you. So keep the left hand reaching up, just the right arm circles all the way around and back up to the ceiling. Then take the left arm to circle all the way around and back up to the ceiling. Again with the right arm circling back. Inhale, lift. Left arm circles back. Inhale, lift. Exhale to bring both hands down to the floor. Step it back into your plank position. So come through all fours first if we need to, and then find your plank. Broad through shoulder blades. Again, think belly pulling up, glutes are lightly engaged. Spread the hands open. Take a big breath in. Then use that exhale. Bring the knees to the floor. You can take the rolling to the ground or a half chaturanga. Inhale, come into your cobra with hands under the shoulders. Shoulders drawing back and down, lift the chest. Use your exhale and strong arms to come through all fours. Fold into your child's pose. Keeping the arms as far away from you as you can. So you get the lengthening through the side body. Coming forwards and up, finding your downward facing dog. Either some soft movements or holding stillness. We're going to hold for 3 breaths. Try and let the head relax. Inhale 2, we'll call it 1 breath done. Exhale. Inhale 3. Exhale. Bring the gaze to your hands, bend the knees. You can step, walk, or jump the feet up to your hands. Find your forward fold again, however feels best to get there. Take a halfway lift as you inhale. Exhale, fold into the legs. Inhale, come all the way up to standing, arms lifting overhead. If you need to, just step up to the top of the mat a little bit further. Come onto the tiptoes. Exhale, heels down, interlace the fingers together behind your back. Reach the chest open, take a big breath in. Exhale, deep bend in the knees, bring the body to the thighs and the arms coming over the head. Keeping the fold, take your halfway lift with the hands still clasped. Exhale, just soften the hands down to either side of the feet. Step your left leg back behind you as far as you can and place the knee down to the ground. Staying in that long, low lunge, so just let the hips sink heavy towards your front heel. If you need to, just wriggle the front foot forward so your knee is over the ankle. It's good. Press down through the front heels, your arms reach forwards and up towards the ceiling. As you exhale, circle your left arm back behind you, down to the floor and up to the ceiling. Right arm circles back. Inhale to lift. Left arm. Inhale. Right arm. Inhaling at the top. Exhale, bring both hands to the floor. Step it back into your plank position. Holding plank. Broad through the shoulder blades. Take a big breath in. Exhale, take any variation of a chaturanga. Come all the way down to the floor. Inhale, taking cobra or up dog if you wish to. Exhale, come back into your child's pose, hips to heels, arms lengthening away. Come back forwards and up into your downward facing dog. Again, holding here for 3 breaths, keep the tailbone lifting. So inhale for 1. Exhale. Inhale 2. Exhale. Inhale 3. Exhale. Bring the gaze to the hands, bend the knees, bring your feet to your hands, however feels best together. Take a halfway lift as you inhale. Exhale, soften it into the legs. Bring the big toes to touch. Take a deep bend in the knees and come into your chair pose, arms lifting up. Take a breath in. And as you exhale, press through the legs to come to standing, hands to the heart center. Pick your right knee up towards your chest just for a moment, and we're going to send it straight back behind you to step into warrior 1. So you want your feet to be about hip width apart, so broaden them out a little bit towards the edges of the mats. Back foot on an angle so you can root that back heel into the floor, nice and strong through the back leg. Lift the hands towards the ceiling. Think pulling the belly in as you exhale, so the tailbone drops down. Shift the pelvis forwards towards your front heel, but keep the tailbone down and the belly pulling in, like you're slightly trying to tuck the tailbone or press pubic bone forwards. If you keep pressing back through that back leg, maybe you're also feeling a stretch through your right hip flexor. You can have that for free if you are feeling that. From here, straighten up that front leg, take a big breath in, and then rotate round to the right, so you come into warrior two. You'll just need to realign your feet slightly, so your front heel is in line with the arch of the back foot. Good. Straighten up through the spine, so you're not leaning forwards. And again, think drawing the belly in and the tailbone down. So you're not necessarily tucking the tailbone, but just take out any feeling of back bending into it. Bend at the elbows, so your hands come into cactus with the palms facing your ears, like you're doing a tragedy dance. Spread the fingers open, so hands feel pretty active. Good, excellent little dancing. See that? Keep the elbows up in line with shoulders. Think thumbs reaching back behind you and elbows reaching forwards. So you get a little squeeze underneath the shoulder blades. Don't worry if you don't feel that, you're still kind of activating the shoulders, so that's fine. Bring the elbows then in towards your waistline, so tuck the arms against the ribs and bring the hands forward so you're looking at the palms, like you're holding a tray. As you inhale, lift the shoulders up towards your ears. Hold the breath, squeeze the shoulder blades together so your hands will open out. Then as you exhale, drag the shoulder blades and the elbows down. Once again, inhale, broaden to upper back, lift the shoulders up. Hold the breath and squeeze the shoulder blades, then exhale to drag the shoulder blades down. Last one, inhale, broaden to upper back, lift the shoulders. Hold the breath, squeeze the shoulder blades. Exhale, drag the shoulder blades down. Lengthen the arms back out again, palms stay facing up to ceiling. As you exhale, spiral the hands down towards the floor, either side of your front foot, and step your back foot up to the top of the mat into your forward fold. Take a halfway lift as you inhale. And exhale, soften into the legs. Slowly rolling up to standing. Bring the arms up above your head as you rise. And then bring the hands to your heart center. Left knee is going to lift up towards your chest just briefly. Exhale is going to step it back behind you, finding that warrior one. So back heel is rooted to the floor. So your foot is on a diagonal line, hips and shoulders stay facing front. Lift the hands towards the ceiling. Draw the lower ribs in and the belly in, so straightening out your torso. Think on this one, slightly tucking the tailbone, keeping reaching pubic bone forwards towards front heel and pressing the feet apart from each other. So again, maybe you feel that opening or stretch through the front of your left hip. Don't worry if you don't feel it, it's just a bonus if you do. From here, inhale, straighten the front leg, reach up tall through the arms. Exhale into warrior two. So again, just hinging, your front heels come in line with the arch of the back foot. Straighten up the spine so we're not leaning forwards in towards the front leg. And then bend at the elbows. So again, you find your tragedy dance arms, give it a little wiggle into the booty if you want to. So elbows in line with shoulders, reach the thumbs back behind you and the elbows forwards. So maybe you get that little squeeze of muscle underneath the shoulder blades. Again, don't worry if you don't feel that, just get the work of the shoulders there. From here, tuck the elbows in, so we find that same bird wing arms, we call it. Palms are forward, so you're looking up at the hands. As you inhale, breathe broad into upper back, so spread the shoulder blades open and lift the shoulders up. Hold the breath, squeeze the shoulder blades together, and as you exhale, drag them down. I've kept my back to you, so hopefully you can see that movement. Inhale, broad into upper back, lift the shoulders. Hold the breath, squeeze the shoulder blades. Exhale, drag them down. Last one, inhale, broad into upper back, lift the shoulders. Hold the breath and squeeze. Exhale, drag the shoulders down. Lengthen the arms out so palms stay facing up to the ceiling. And as you exhale, spiral the hands all the way down to the floor. Step the back foot up to the top of the mats. Take a halfway lift as you inhale. Exhale, soften into the legs. Slowly rolling up to standing. Bring your hands either side of you and up to the ceiling as you come up. Exhale, bring the hands to the heart center. Come up onto the tiptoes again. Keep your drishti, your focus point, something steady. The inner thighs pulling towards each other slightly. Glutes are active and pull in through those lower bandhas, that mula bandha, pelvic floor, and belly button to spine. High as you can on the tiptoes. If you're feeling steady, see if you can close your eyes. Suddenly it might feel like you're drunk. Open your eyes. Lower the heels. Sit the hips down as your arms lift up. So you come into chair pose, but with the feet hips distance. Reach the sit bones back behind you. Good. Take a breath in. Exhale, come back up to standing, hands to heart center. Lift the hands up, take a breath in. Exhale, back into that chair pose, keeping the feet hips distance, tailbone back. Stay where you are, take a breath in. Exhale, press through the feet, standing up, hands to heart center. Just one more. Inhale, arms lift. Exhale, sit back. Stay where you are, take a breath in. Exhale, press to standing, hands to heart center. Step either leg back behind you. So you're going to come into a wide leg stance with the legs. Good. Hands to the hips. Take a breath in, shoulders open, so shoulder blades squeeze together, sorry. As you exhale, come into a fold, so let the head fold into that space between the legs. Micro bend into the knees if that's a little more comfortable. And then bring the hands to the floor underneath the shoulders. If the hands don't reach the ground, then take the feet a little bit wider and lower. Keep any gentle swaying into this, so whether that's the body swaying from one leg to the other, or a little bend into one knee at a time, or a little bit of both. Keep some soft movement through it. Keep the breath moving through. Walk your hands around towards your right foot and let the feet turn with you. So you're going to come into pyramid pose. So fingertips, if you have bricks and you want to use bricks here, then please use them. Otherwise, if you don't have bricks, keep a little bend into your front knee so your fingertips find the ground, and then over time we work on straightening the legs. So it's okay to have a bend in the front knee. I'd rather your fingertips be grounded than floating. Okay. Fingertips are down, and then work on straightening up both legs. Draw the back heel towards the ground. Doesn't matter if it is floating, if your legs are a little bit longer on this one. And allow the upper body to relax. And don't worry if this doesn't quite make sense to you, but if you can shift your right hip back and your left hip forwards, you'll feel the pelvis kind of square out a little bit. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, start walking the hands around to the space between your legs again. Turn the feet with you back into that wide leg fold. And then keep turning all the way around towards your left foot. So you come into that pyramid pose again with the left foot front. So again, maybe there's a little bend in the knees so that you can get the fingertips grounded, blocks under the hands, maybe more comfortable. Don't worry today whether that back heel is lifted or grounded, it's entirely up to you, but sense the back heel pressing towards the floor. Upper body heavy. Maybe you can just shift your left sit bone back, your right sit bone forward so you feel the pelvis square up. Deep breath. If you're facing the right way up on your mat, then stay where you are. We're going to come into a downward dog. So just however feels best to get there. Step your front leg to the back of the mat. Downward dog. Good. Paddling the feet. And slowly then bring the knees to the floor. So you come back into a child's pose. Take the elbows wide and the hands underneath the forehead this time. So just let the body relax into that child's pose. Really slowing down the breath. Gently bring yourself through to a kneeling position. We're just going to take a little side stretch. So if you're comfortable in kneeling, then you can stay where you are. Otherwise, bring the legs around in front of you to any place that you feel comfortable to be sat upright. Okay. Just let the hands rest to the sides of the hips. I'm going to lift just the right arm up towards the ceiling and take that straight over into a side stretch. So the left hand stays to the ground. Walk it away from you so it acts as a little support. Good. Let your hips shift over towards the right side. Good. And then as you breathe, feel the breath physically move into that right side of your rib cage. As you next exhale, roll slightly forwards to come back up center. Take a breath in at the top. Just let the shoulders settle. Left arm is then going to lift up to the ceiling and take it over to the side stretch. So use that right arm to go away from you as a long support. Shoulders stay down away from ears. And let your pelvis sink over towards the left. So you find more extension through that left side of the torso. Use the breath to stretch you from the inside out. And on your exhale, slowly rolling forwards to then bring yourself back up straight. So if they aren't already, let the legs come out in front of you. Taking a long diamond shape with the legs, so the soles of the feet are together, the knees open. So at least 2 palms can fit between groin and heels is generally how I'd measure it. Take the hands to your shins, and a little bit like that cat-cow movement of your spine, as you inhale, lift the chest up, send the tailbone back behind you, keep the shoulders down. As you exhale, round through the spine the other way, so tucking the tailbone, bring the gaze towards your navel and really press your shoulder blades towards the wall behind you. Inhale to open back up again, tailbone reaches back, chest lifting up. Exhale, scooping through the other way. One more time on either side. Inhale to lift. And exhale to scoop around. Inhale to lift back up again, then just straighten the spine rather than folding and hinge forward so the forehead comes down towards the heels. Just wherever it comes to is fine. Elbows can either hang on the outer side of the shins or go underneath the calf muscles. So you hold onto the shoelace bit of your feet. So you kind of tuck your arms in, which will help anchor you down. Allow the weight of your head to just hang heavy. This is a modified turtle pose. So your back is rounded like the shell of a turtle. Full turtle is the legs behind your head, which some of you will know about from Monday. We won't go there today. Gently begin to unthread yourself. Use the hands to help sit the knees back center. Place the feet to the floor. So the hands rest to the sides to support you. And just take a rock of the knees going side to side, little arch through the back, anything that kind of feels good to neutralize the body. And then bring yourself down onto your back with the knees in towards your chest. So you hug them in towards you. Take your rock side to side on your spine. Place the feet to the floor, arms just resting out to the sides wherever they feel comfortable to, and find the rocking of the knees just dropping side to side, as big or as small as you want to take it, just keep it moving. And then bring yourself into any variation of Shavasana. So maybe that is the legs out flat, or keeping the knees bent, or soles of the feet together, wherever you want to be. Hands either resting to the sides of the body or resting onto the lower abdomen. As we did at the start, just really allow the pelvis to feel anchored into the ground. See if you can then just let your back soften or let the legs soften around it. You're still noticing some tension through the face or the skin of the face. Maybe give your face another stretch out and scrunch up and let it go floppy. So allow your body to find softness. If you're still having a bit of a wriggle, bring yourself to stillness. Without there being any force or manipulation of the breath, just try to encourage it into that lower abdomen. Just so you encourage a little bit more of a slower pace. Allowing the bones of your body to feel heavy. Allow the muscles to lay softly over the bones. And allowing the skin just to sit lightly on top of the muscle, on top of the bones. The breath just automatically doing its thing. Just take another minute where you are. And then begin to deepen the breath so that it carries a little bit of energy through your body. Allow that sense of energy to move a bit of move the body slightly, whether that's just the feet or the ankles or swallowing in the throat. Whenever you next inhale, reach the arms back behind you and extend the legs away so you find a full body stretch out. Gently bend the knees so the feet come to the floor and just let your spine reset to the ground. Either roll yourself over to one side or take a very gentle rock up to seated if that's more comfortable. Bring yourself upright, however, whenever feels best. Keep your eyes closed once you're sat, allowing the backs of the hands to rest at the knees, the spine to be straight, and the rest of the body just to be soft around it. Bring to mind just one thing that you can feel grateful for today. Acknowledge one thing that you are proud of yourself for. And acknowledge one way of how getting to your yoga mat has served you in some way today. Closing that to the heart center, bring the hands together. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, bow your head to your hands. Thank you so much for joining me. Namaste. Well done. Thank you, girls.
Thank you, Pip.
Thanks, Jen. See you soon.
See you soon.
Bye. Bye, Jane. Thank you.
Thank you, Pippi.